Breaking news, everybody. Jason Kelce, he's spending a lot of time at the facility. Got a lot of details on that. An inside look at the cornerback room, thanks to Isaiah Rogers in the Philly podcast. So thanks to them. Jalen and Sirianni's relationship. Got some details on that. Howie had something to do with something in the offseason that we didn't expect, supposedly. So without further ado, let's fly on into it. So first and foremost, according to Lane Johnson, he's been spending a lot of time. Jason Kelsey's been spending a lot of time at the Eagles facility, things of that nature. Obviously, no longer is a player, things of that nature. But according to another source, Key Adams, he has a coach locker, like in the coach's locker room. So is he the O line coach? Is he just there to help Cam Jurgens develop things of that nature? There's a lot of exciting things about that. He's been there, even more than some players. So, who knows? Maybe it's like managerial or higher up or however, advising in terms of free agents or however the case may be. Um, yeah. Next up, Howie. He had his hands, quote unquote, all over the coordinator hires that were supposedly, Nick Sirianni's picks or however. That's according to Sports Illustrated. Um, Honestly, what I think about that in general is I'm super excited to see him as a coach. Um, so Jason Kelsey, I think, is obviously, one of the best Philadelphia Eagles players of all time, regardless of positions. Just, he's definitely a top 10 Eagle of all time, regardless. Super Bowl champion in terms of coach. I think he would have a lot to offer Cam Jurgens, other O line, right guard, left guard, etc. I think, he'd have, a lot to offer. So that's very, very exciting to talk about. So. But back onto the coordinator situation. I honestly thought from the start that Howie was going to take over and just cook the off season or however the case may be. Which is what he did do. So whenever it was supposedly Nick's plan, and if his plan wasn't good enough, or however, I just think that they didn't want to look like a bad franchise. Going from head coach to head coach, regardless of the level of success. But personally, um, we'll get into a little bit more of Nick Sirianni's situation later, but um, Jalen gets in final workout with Dallas Goedert and the other rookies and young guys on the team. It's very exciting to see, that he's still trying to get better. He's still trying to develop, and that he's not like, oh well, I already trained him, as much as I could, blah. He's still trying. He's still making time for it, and that's not required. The Eagles aren't like, oh yeah, do this undercover stuff, do this, do that, or however, he did, the OTAs, things of that nature. He showed up and learned like the basics of the new scheme and all that. So I'm more excited for training camp, like I said, which I think like 3, 4, or 5 days away, something like that. So yeah, really exciting to talk about. Next up, will Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore play the rookies? I actually have a statistical answer for that. And people that know him, or however the case may be, I don't know the people that know him personally, but I mean it's available on Google and multiple sources, things of that nature. Anyways, without further ado, on Vic's part, it's if they're good enough. The first couple weeks, don't worry. I'll go ahead and post like the specific article or however, like down there, however. But yeah, with Vic Fangio, it's only if they're good enough. In the first couple weeks, if we don't see him starting, don't worry or however. I mean, there's always room for growth and development. But I mean, if by like week 7, week 8, week 9, week 10, we don't see him as straight up because they're not good enough. Um, Next up on Kellen's part, first rookies and second year players are either week 1 starters or bench warmers, or nothing. Nothing's on merit alone, is what the article said, or however the case. So, in terms of Anais Smith, I guess he'll either get the wide receiver 1 spot, not what the heck, no, wide receiver 3 or 4 spot. Sorry guys, I'm just super excited about the other stuff we got to talk about as well. Um, but yeah, Naismith will either be the week 1 starting wide receiver 3 or 4, however the case, or be a bench warmer, however the case may be. Um, Next up, Jeff Lurie thinks that Nick Sirianni is the real deal, quote unquote, and that he has all-time great potential. That basically that he could be an all-time great. according to CBS NFL and Bleeding Green Nation. Um, in my opinion, he doesn't even have the potential to keep your job with all the talent in the world type of coach. He can't elevate anybody. You know what I'm saying? He can't make adjustments. He can't play call. He can't pick up the blitz. He doesn't want to abandon his scheme just because it looks good and he likes it, or however he'd rather have all the players injured, or however the case may be, than play to the player's strengths, or however. In the beginning, it looked like they were relying strictly on talent, or however, like forcing whatchamacallit, AJ and Smitty to always beat the players down the field, or however. And then towards the end, it just looked stagnant and stale. Everybody already knew what was coming. So I mean, I completely disagree with that. And considering that's coming from the owner, I'm like, oh dang, we were making fun of Jerry Jones for being old and making bad decisions, and dang, I mean, Lurie, keeping Nick, that's literally the only bad thing in the off season. That's literally the only bad thing in the off season is the fact that we're keeping Nick Sirianni, unfortunately. But on the good side, according to Fox NFL, the Eagles have the second best roster um, in the NFL. So I think like first was the San Francisco 49ers, the second was us, the third was the Chiefs. I'll go ahead and like post a picture right there. But yeah, essentially, I think that's pretty accurate. I mean, I think if anything, they are the only team that is better than us potentially. Simply because I believe their tight end is a little bit better. However, but overall, I mean, quarterback just about the same. I believe Saquon's better than their running back. Um, in terms of receivers, I like AJ and Smitty. Ayuk's about to get traded anyways, but as of right now, he's still a 49er. So as of this particular moment, at the point of recording. So um, next up, Isaiah Rodgers. He spoke on the Eagles cornerback room. It says it's hands down the best room anyone's been a part of. Um, he's like, man, how the hell did Howie pull this off? Because he was saying how like so many guys in there can start like anywhere, that there's like that much talent. Um, so I mean again that just speaks to Howie's cooking ability in terms of the off season. And he was saying how he preached to the young guys, try to make a play a day and a pick a week. He's just been preaching that, or however, and eventually, get better. Just keep trying, keep putting in the effort. Is what he was saying to to the young guys. Next up, me personally, there's been rumored a second round pick for Cam Hayward from the Steelers, 35 years old, missed 6 games last season due to a groin injury. But previous to last season, he had 2 seasons with 10 plus sacks and 70 tackles. Um, Obviously 70 and 70 or however, I'm pretty sure. And then this last year individually, he had 33 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, obviously in 11 games. Maybe the trade's in the works. I have no idea. I heard, through sources that it would be for a second round pick for a 35-year-old who just had a groin injury, and that kind of injury lingers in the 30s. Honestly, don't really like it. Um, Especially the fact that we barely got anything back from Hassan Reddick. But then again, knowing what we know, or however, what if because we'll have to trade for him and we'll have to pay him, because that's that that's why all this is getting said, or however, because they haven't made the move to try to re-sign him, or however the case may be, and training camp's right around the corner. So obviously anything can happen, but um, yeah, like I said, Steelers haven't made a move yet. So in terms of that, potentially, I think that if we can, get him for a cheap enough deal, potentially, um, I wouldn't mind it. Having some depth on the D line. He is a good, solid player. Obviously, he's not like, you can't, depend on him like you could have with Ray Lewis. But he's a pretty good. I know the different positions. I'm just saying in terms of dependability wise. Because there's some running backs or some receivers you can count on more than quarterbacks, and quarterbacks, get all the blame as if, they're LeBron or Kobe, if they lost in the playoffs, or however, if they had a bad game, or however the case. But either way it goes, um, next up, Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni's relationship is quote unquote work in progress. Since apparently Kellen Moore is going to be calling all the plays, and Nick Sirianni is stepping back, or however, I don't really care. Since he's not really calling plays, he's just, cheerleading essentially. Kellen Moore, Nick's, not Nick's, but Jalen, Jalen Hurts' relationship. That's the one that matters the most to me, due to the fact that he's the one calling the plays, and that's the one that really has to work out, or however the case, for us to have any sort of hope at a championship this year, at a Super Bowl. Um, and then obviously second place would be Fangio and the defense's relationship. If they get along the whole season, I mean, I don't see why, I don't see how or why we couldn't be a top 10, top 5 defense potentially. Um, and then another article states that they're trying to patch it up, that it was because of due to personalities. One, like Jalen's like more like private about his feelings, and then Nick Sirianni's like immediately emotional about it. Um, it sounds like, you know it sounds like it's kind of all bull crap, or however, just to throw people off, like, oh, but they're not going to be getting along, they'll be easy to take down, or however, to try to throw people off the game. I know I've been saying that a lot, but I mean, they had all off season, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they had all the playoffs, the Super Bowl to think about it, I mean, it's not like we were playing then, I mean, we lost to the Bucks, and then last year, not last year, but like the last time Nick Sirianni stepped back, whenever Steichen took over. I mean, obviously we went to the Super Bowl, and Nick Sirianni really didn't have much to do with the offense. And then he takes back over this year, and he's trash again. I mean, I see everyone sticking up for Nick Sirianni, but I mean, he's trash. When he doesn't have good coordinators, he doesn't do crap. I mean, it's what we've seen last year. It's what we've seen before Steichen. I mean, and then whenever he left or got fired from his previous job, or however, I'm pretty sure with the Chargers, I'm pretty sure. I mean, dude's trash. The dude can't coach. I get it. We all want a good head coach that'll work out, or however, we don't want to be that bad franchise that can't keep a head coach, or however, yada yada yada. I get it, but he's not the answer. He was the problem last year. If all the report, and I'll put that up there too, or however, if all the reports are true, that it was actually Nick Sirianni's offense, and he was the actual one calling the plays, and Brian Johnson was the was just like the scapegoat, or however. Obviously, I wasn't there, so I can't confirm it. I personally believe it, but I'm not gonna tell you guys what to believe, or however. You know what I'm saying? It's America. Freedom of belief, freedom of thought, freedom of choice, or however, as long as it's not against the law, or however. I don't recommend breaking any laws. I just recommend following Jesus, the Lord and Savior. You know what I'm saying? And whatever you want to do in life, just do it. But anyways, as long as it's not bad. But anyways, but yeah, like I said, I mean, to me, it sounds like complete bullcrap, or however. Um, you know, Either spread by the Eagles, or however, to just take some pressure off, or however, like, oh, but they're not going to be that good because they're still fighting, or however, the head coach and the QB, or however, yada yada yada, or I don't know, or it's just bullcrap just because they want clicks by the media. One of the two. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, if the other reports are true, that it was the Nick Sirianni's whole idea, an offense, or however the case may be, then you know what I'm saying. It's I'm not even feeling I'm getting Vietnam flashbacks. I'm just freaking imagining the offense, all the weak freaking wide receiver screens, and then the third and 18, fourth and 18 quarterback draws, and then Chris McCaffrey being able to call it out on live television. Yeah, he's going to do this, he's going to do that, and I'm just like, man, I mean, if it's that freaking predictable, I mean, we all thought it was Brian Johnson, myself included, but in reality, we probably didn't even see his offense. We probably didn't even get a chance to see it. We'll probably seen it maybe a little bit in preseason, and it didn't work out one time. And ever since then, Nick Sirianni took back over, and then according to everybody else, it was still Brian Johnson. That's what I think. Me personally, I mean, it matches up with the reports. I mean, in preseason, I know it's just preseason, but I mean, like the plays that were being called were different. And then like Brian Johnson actually looked like more involved, or however. And then even then, like the general like behaviors, like with the with the players, they looked more upset with Nick Sirianni than Brian Johnson, personally. And then I think like maybe just why they're beefing is because they're like, dang, I think Jalen's like, dang, you just got my homeboy fired. He didn't even do nothing wrong. He didn't even probably call a single play in the regular season. And then you're the one that probably should have went. And he's like, oh no, 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 no. That's what I think. I mean, that's hearsay, or however, that's all hypotheticals, or however the case may be. But that's what I personally think is that basically Jalen's mad, or however, at Nick, or however, um because he got Brian Johnson fired, or however, when he didn't even get an honest chance. Whenever Nick Sirianni just acted like a tyrant and took everything back over, and obviously ruined it. And then Jalen tried to call audibles, or however, and then but obviously everyone already caught on, or however, you can only call so many. If. Anyways, but yeah, I think that's gonna do it for today's video. Sorry for filming you guys at the end and for stuttering or however. It's just when I get excited or however. And last year, I love me because I watch every single game. I watch every single play, every kickoff, win, lose or draw. I don't care. I bleed green. You know what I'm saying? Like I love my Eagles. So, and last year it was hard to watch. I'll tell you what, it was super hard to watch. But regardless, I love my Eagles. You never know what could happen. They could always come back or however. But man, it was aggravating. I'm sorry, Nick Sirianni. He's part of the problem. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all the likes, all the comments, all the feedback. Really do appreciate it. Um, like I said, I don't know when, but I'm gonna do like my first little live stream or however around like the first couple days of training camp. So there's lots to talk about. So it's not just me saying like, oh, what do you guys want to talk about? It's like yeah, the blah blah blah. Then let's talk about this. Then let's talk about this, and then hear feedback or however, and then et cetera, and then go from there. But yeah. Um, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, sorry for rambling or however. It's just I love my Eagles, and you guys have been showing me some love recently, so I really do want to show you guys proper appreciation for that. But yeah, like I said, thank the Lord, and you know read the Bible, and all that good stuff, and you know pray, pray, and pray. Thank you guys so much for watching. Philly out. Peace.